environmental impact assessment steps. So the most of the people they're confused about the different steps of the environmental impact assessments. It is a vital for HSE or EHSE or ESG for any department related to the HSE side. So when you have a proper knowledge in environment, especially for environment aspect impact assessments and environment impact assessments. So when you are doing the proper way of environmental impact assessments and also the knowledge, environmental impact assessment knowledge is a vital for those who are practicing the HSE management systems or EHS or any kind of the safety management systems. So since the environment is integral form of HSE, so nowadays all integrated, as you know that one. So the environmental impact assessments, that is EIA. So this EIA is for major projects, for it's a legal, it's a legislative requirement. Wherever the major projects are coming, you have to do the EIA. Because when you do the EIA and submit the report to the government, then they will see whether the project is eligible for environmental clearance. So the environmental clearance you will get only by means of EIA. Worldwide, everywhere, in different countries, in different practices. So the EIA report is must for major projects. These projects, when the people ask to have the EIA report, you have to have the proper EIA assessments and the report. That steps are there. What we are going to see today. So from where we are starting, from where we are ending. That's important. Because even though you are a safety officer, HSE manager or HSE advisor, whatever it may be, but you must have a knowledge. Even though the consultancy people, they are doing the EIA studies, but when you have that knowledge, then only you can guide. You can get more information in that. You can also participate in that EIA reports. Because sometimes the consultancy external agency people, they don't know how to, the things are there in the industry, what are the environmental aspect, what are the impact, so what are the different kinds of base, the environmental issues are there in that industry. So these all the things only you must know it. Sometimes external people, they don't know, but you can include that one because sometimes the legal authorities, once you submitted the EIA report, they question. So it may lead to complications when you are getting approval from the legal bodies. So that's why always it's important to do the EIA in a proper manner, and you must participate, and you have to think about it. Because there are a lot of EIA studies are there, but that EIA studies and all, even though it's all different kinds, but there will be a baseline studies are there. So there are steps are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These 10 steps you have to have. So the first step, screening. The environmental impact assessments, EIA studies. Now we are going to see the part 1. The part 2 we will see on 11th June. But now part 1, first stage is screening. So screening is important for EIA studies, because when you are screening only, you know it whether EIA studies are required or not. Because most of the people think that we don't need EIA study. Some people think about yes, we need study, but it's not like that. You cannot simply determine that EIA study required or not, but there will be a screening. First one is screening. So you have to do the screen whether EIA report based on the legal and regularity criteria. So legal and regularity requirement criteria is coming under your construction site or your projects, that you have to determine. Because as per the legal criteria, the projects, the area, the big areas, major projects, more than, we can say, 5 kilometers to 10 kilometers radius. So in that big areas, more than 5 to 10 kilometers, even though it's a middle level, but some areas are 50 kilometers, or we can say 20 kilometers area, 10 kilometers area. So in that big project, major construction project like airport, like railways, like so many, big projects. So in that projects, definitely the EIA required. But the small projects, the based on the industries, chemical industries, definitely required. Oil and gas, definitely required. So the nature of hazardous material is there. It's definitely causing the pollution, major pollution to the environment. Then you have to do the EIA. So there will be a legal and regularity criteria there. Based on the legal and regulatory criteria, you have to do the EIA. So that is the screening part. So you have to see which legal regularity criteria is applicable for your industry. So that you have to determine the legal part. Then you decide whether EIA required or not. That is the first part, is screening. Then second one, after screening, you decided EIA required. After screening, legal and regulatory, you decided EIA required. So in that case, the scoping. Second part is scoping. So we are seeing step by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Today we are going to see first 5 steps. Then 11th June, we are going to see next 5 steps. So first one is screening. Then second one is scoping. So in that scoping, identifying the key environmental issues. So once you decided you are going for EIA, then you have to identify the key environmental issues. It may be air pollution, it may be soil pollution, it may be radioactive pollution, or it may be chemical pollution, it may be some other kind of the environmental issues. So in the particulate matter, so you have to identify the key environmental issues, define the scope of study and terms of reference. So in that you have to identify the environmental issues, then you have to define the scope of study. How you will define? Okay, in your factory you are doing the processing of chemicals. So in that case, the processing of, you are doing lot of activity, but the environmental issues are based on mainly the processing of chemicals. So here the scope is you have to processing of chemicals. So that is the scope for that EIA. So processing of chemicals, you have to do the environmental impact assessments. That is the scoping part. The third one, baseline studies. So you did screening, you did scoping, then you have to do the baseline studies. So what baseline studies? So you have to collect the existing environmental data on physical, biological and socio-economic conditions around the construction industry, around the upcoming projects. Because when you do the EIA, then only you can construct the factory. Sorry, construct the industry. So for that, you have to have the proper knowledge about the existing environmental data on physical, for example, air pollution, for example, noise pollution, then soil pollution. So then around the area, how the people are living, the socio-economic condition around that area. So these existing condition, you are going to build a factory in that area. It's around, we can say, 50, around 20 kilometers radius. In that 20 kilometers radius, you have to make a EIA. In that EIA, you have to see around that area what will be the socio-economic conditions and what will be the plants, what will be the animals, what will be the rivers and water bodies. So these are the things you have to have a record. After that, so existing environmental data. So what are the existing environmental data means? What is the temperature? What is the climate? So what is the plants there around the factory? Animals, what all there? Flora, fauna. We can call it as a flora, fauna is around the factory. Then how many water bodies? What is the water bodies condition in that? What is the groundwater level? For example, we can say analysis report, groundwater analysis report. What is the pH of groundwater? And what is the TDS of groundwater? So these are the things, the physical and biological and economic condition existing, not future, existing, you have to do the baseline study. Baseline study you can make it with the consultant or laboratory people. You can take a soil sample, you can take the groundwater and analysis the groundwater, and around the area you have to make what are the situation around that. These all the things you have to make a baseline study. Either you or your environmental consultant people, they will do that for baseline study. So that is the first baseline study. Then after the baseline studies, you have to do the impact prediction and evaluation. Fourth one, environmental impact prediction and evaluation. So that is the one of the major part when you have. So environmental prediction means what will be the impact prediction. So in case if this factory is coming for that area, what will be the environmental impact? How it's going to be affect? So that you have to predict. Sorry. How you can predict? Predict if the chemical factory is coming for that place, then what will be the environmental impact? How the groundwater going to be affected? How the overall water body, flora, fauna gets affected? So these are the things you have to make a prediction. Impact prediction and evaluation. So identify, predict, then evaluate potential environmental impacts on the location. So identifying the potential environmental impact because of the chemical industry. So there will be a chemical industry coming for that area. So you have to identify the environmental impact because of that chemical factory is coming for that area. So what will be the impact? There will be chances of water pollution. groundwater maybe gets spoiled. So that you have to mention in that. That is the identification. Then you have to have a chimneys. If the chimneys are there, then there will be the air pollution. So that air pollution, how much it will be affected, how much distance it's going to be affected, how the chimney's height. If the chimney's height 20 feet or 10 feet means how long it's going to be affected, how the flora affected, how the fauna affected, how the overall water body around the area gets affected. So these things you have to predict. So that consultancy people and you people you have to sit and identify what will be the identify, predict, then evaluate potential environmental impacts on the project for these projects. So that is the fourth point. Then fifth one, mitigation measures proportion. So because of this chemical industry, these are the environmental impacts. Then what will be your mitigation measures proportion? So you have to give if this company is coming, factory is coming to this place, then there will be an environmental potential impact. How you are going to mitigate? So that company have to give the answer for that. How you are going to mitigate? That is a proportion, saying that we will treat the chemical water, zero discharge. That is your proportion. Then we will use the wet scrubbers, chimneys. Then the air pollution gets reduced because of wet scrubbers. So we will make some sodium hydroxide solutions, and then we will send the chemical fumes in that wet scrubber, and then when going out, that air pollution gets minimized. So these are the mitigation proposal you have to give to the legal body, that is the Environmental Ministry or EPA, whatever it may be. So you have to give first you have to identify the environmental potential impacts. Then what you have to do, mitigation measures proposal. You have to give the proposal in case. Now the baseline study says the water, pH, TDS, C body, B body, this much. But after the chemical industry coming, when you are releasing the water, what will be the impact? So that's why you are saying that if the chemical water directly going to the soil, then there will be a major impact. Groundwater gets spoiled. That's why, because of preventing, you are giving the mitigation proposal, saying that you will treat the water, and you after treatment only you will discharge, or you will not discharge any water, zero discharge plan for your industry. So that mitigation proposal you will give. The same thing for air pollution, you will use the wet scrubbers and reduce the pollution totally and give up the fumes, outside the fumes. And also around the area you are committing that you are building a green building you are going to do. For that you are going to reduce the pollution. So you are committing that you are not going to use the natural resources. You are committing that you are preserving the flora fauna around that area. So these are the mitigation proposal in case of the chemical industry coming to that area. So you are giving how you are going to mitigate the impact, environmental impact, and serving the environment and saving the environment. So that is your commitment. So these 5 steps first you have to do. After that only we have another steps are coming. So first you have to, when you decided EIA, then you have to do screening whether EIA we can go or not. Then scoping means there are lot of scopes are there, lot of activities are there in an industry, but you are going for EIA only some hazardous and environmentally impacted areas. For example, chemical process. So you have to mention chemical process for scoping. Then baseline studies. When you are doing the baseline study, you have to do soil analysis, water analysis, air analysis, and then around the area flora fauna. So water bodies, the environmental conditions. These are the things you have to do the baseline. After doing the baseline, you can have the environmental prediction and the evaluation. So in case this chemical factor is coming for that area, what will be the environmental impact? If the chemical water directly enter into the soil, what will be the impact? If the air fumes go to the environment, what will be the impact? If you are taking the water from the nearby lake, nearby river, then what will be the impact? So these are the things you have to find out. That is the environmental impact prediction. Then after that, mitigation measures proportion. In that case, if the you are identifying the major environmental impacts, then what will be the mitigation measures proportion? Means you have to give the proportions. What kind of proportion? We are not going to send the water to the ground. We will treat the water. And also sometimes we will send the water to other people for disposal purpose. That is called zero discharge. Then we will not emit any fumes, because we will treat the fumes with the wet scrubbers. Then only we will send the fumes outside. That also we will monitor with the air stock monitoring. So that also your proportion, mitigation proportion. The same thing you are giving a proposal that there will be a mitigation measures of green building and saving the water bodies, flora, faunas around that area. These are the mitigation proportion your company giving to the environmental ministry or environmental EPA or environmental board. So this is the commitment. One type of mitigation proposal you are giving. This is the step by step. So step 1, screening. Step 2, scoping. Step 3, baseline studies. Step 4, impact prediction and evaluation. Step 5, mitigation measures proportion. So these are the 5 steps for EIA's first 5 steps. Then you can have a 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. So the rest 5 we will see on 11th June 2026 Thursday, same time 3 p.m. So join us for that time. So now you have understand what will be the environmental impact assessments, what will be the first stage to 5th stage, where we can start with the screening, then we can have a mitigation measures proportion. So these 5 we have seen. So overall 5 steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5 we have seen. We will see rest 5 on 11. So you have any doubt in this environmental impact assessment steps, you can have comments on that. Definitely I'll try to answer for that. Still there are so many environmental health safety informations are there in our HSEMINDSETmm channel. You can go through it through either in videos or in live trainings. In playlist also, the HSE BBS trainings, there are all training documents are available. You can go through it. Definitely you will get more information and it will help you a lot for regular works and regular activities. So don't miss it to watch all these videos. We will see in some other live sessions. Thanks for watching. So you have any environmental impact assessment steps, doubts, are there. You can easily, give the answer. You can easily contact us through the comments, or still you have doubts, you can join on 11th. In that time, you can also raise the comments during the live time. So this is the best opportunity you can have the environmental impact assessment steps, because this environmental is a wide topic. The most of the people, they don't have that much information about the environmental part. So mostly everyone interested in occupational health and safety, but the environmental lagging. But here I am giving him my experiential knowledge about this environmental impact assessments. So what we have seen is the steps, how each and every company or major companies they are proceeding with the environmental impact assessments. So the environmental impact assessments nowadays, all type of major companies and hazardous companies, this environmental impact assessments asked by the concerned environmental legal authorities, or the government only give the permission for constructing the building by approving the environmental impact assessments. If you are not giving the environmental impact assessments, your environmental impact assessments not approved means so you will not able to construct a factory, you will not have the factory. So the EIA must, when you are submitting for constructing the factory, the government see the environmental impact assessment reports. If it's everything okay, environmental clearance you got it, then only they give the approval for the construction. So that is a vital one. Being an environmental officer, sustainability officer, ESG officer, EHS officer, or HSE or safety officer, you must definitely know the EIA. So that time only you can easily connect with the projects. So now we have seen first 5 stages. We will see next 5 stages on 11th. Thanks for participating. Thanks for viewing. Please connect our channels regularly. You will get lot of information. Thank you very much.